early in the afternoon. Saturday night, south winds 15 to 20 knots with gusts of 17 p.m.
observations from around the area. At Atlanta, with drizzle and fog reducing visibility to 1 mile, the temperature was 43 degrees, dew point 41 degrees, relative humidity 93%, wind east at 15 miles an hour, pressure was 29.99 inches and steady. Around Atlanta, at Chamblee, with fog it was 39, wind variable at 6. At Marietta, with fog it was 41, wind east at 10. At Mableton, with fog it was 43, wind east at 7. At Peachtree City, with light rain it was 46, wind east at 9. At Lawrenceville, with fog it was 39, wind east at 7. At Cartersville, it was cloudy and 41, wind east at 13 gusting to 20. At Kennesaw, with fog it was 40, wind east at 13 gusting to 24. At Hampton, with rain it was 44, wind east at 7. At Covington, with drizzle and fog it was 41, wind east at 7 gusting to 13. At Monroe, with drizzle and fog the temperature was 39. Elsewhere around the region, at Athens, with fog it was 39, wind east at 7. At Gainesville, with fog it was 37, wind east at 10. At Macon, with fog it was 48, wind east at 7. At Columbus, with light rain and fog it was 57, wind southeast at 7. At Birmingham, with rain and fog it was 56, wind north at 12. At Rome, with light rain it was 42, wind northeast at 6. At Chattanooga, with rain and fog it was 44, wind north at 5. At Asheville, with light rain and fog it was 34, wind south at 5. At Augusta, with fog it was 41, wind northeast at 7. At St. Simon's Island, with fog it was 59, wind variable at 3. Here is the official forecast from the National Weather Service for the Atlanta listening area. Tonight, showers. Lows in the lower 40s. East winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Chance of rain 90%. Wednesday, showers. Highs in the upper 40s. East winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Chance of rain 80%. Wednesday night, showers and a slight chance of thunderstorms. Lows in the upper 40s. Southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Gusts up to 25 miles an hour after midnight. Chance of rain near 100%. Thursday, not as cool. Showers in the morning, then mostly sunny in the afternoon. Highs in the mid-60s. Northwest winds 10 to 20 miles an hour. Chance of rain near 100%. Thursday night, cooler. Partly cloudy in the evening, then clearing. Lows in the lower 30s. Northwest winds up to 10 miles an hour. And now the extended forecast. Friday and Friday night, showers likely. Highs in the upper 50s. Lows around 40. Saturday and Saturday night, showers and a slight chance of thunderstorms. Highs in the mid-60s. Lows around 50. Sunday and Sunday night, showers likely. Highs in the lower 60s. Lows in the mid-20s. Washington's birthday and Monday night, clear. Highs in the upper 40s. Lows in the upper 20s. Tuesday and Tuesday night, partly cloudy. Highs in the upper 50s. Lows in the upper 30s. For more detailed weather, water, and climate information, please visit our website at weather.gov/Atlanta. Here is the hazardous weather outlook. This hazardous weather outlook is for north and central Georgia. For this afternoon and tonight, temperatures are forecast below freezing at some of the highest elevations above 3,000 feet in northeast Georgia could support light precipitations on elevated tree branches and power lines. Impacts over the next few hours from the minor isolated tree damage or power outages are possible. A flood watch is in effect through Thursday morning across portions of north and central Georgia, roughly along and north of a line from Troup County to Banks County. Multiple rounds of heavy rainfall will bring 2 to 4 inches of rain with local traffic.
in case of an emergency. Call 511 for road. Persons should delay all travel if possible. Avoid
in the upper 30s. For more detailed weather, water, and climate information, please visit our website at weather.gov/Atlanta. Here is the hazardous weather outlook. This hazardous weather outlook is for north and central Georgia. For this afternoon and tonight, temperatures at or just below freezing at some of the highest elevations above 3,000 feet in northeast Georgia could support light accumulations on elevated tree branches and power lines. Impacts over the next few hours should be minor, but isolated tree damage or power outages are possible. A flood watch is in effect through Thursday morning across portions of north and central Georgia, roughly along and north of a line from Troup County to Banks County. Multiple rounds of heavy rainfall will bring 2 to 4 inches of rain with locally higher amounts of up to 6 inches by Thursday morning. Minor flooding of rivers, creeks, and streams is likely. And now the extended outlook for the period Wednesday through Monday. The flood watch remains in effect through Thursday morning. Scattered thunderstorms and periods of heavy and persistent rainfall will be possible Wednesday through Thursday. Some of the storms on Wednesday into Thursday could be strong. Severe storm will be possible in west central Georgia. Severe storms that develop may produce damaging wind gusts. A brief tornado cannot be ruled out in west central Georgia. Spotter information statement. Spotter activation will not be needed through tonight. The current time is 5:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here are the 5 p.m. weather observations from around the area. Atlanta, with drizzle and fog reducing visibility to 1 mile. The temperature was 43 degrees, 2.41 degrees. Relative humidity.
Baltimore City, their public school, they actually had early dismissal out ahead of this event, and now a state of emergency has been declared as snow really expands all across the region. Millions are under winter storm alerts, and this is just the beginning. As the snow ends in the Northeast, another storm is set to form over the plains and continues this overall very active trend ahead. That's not all, right? You thought we're done there? No. Then we got another winter storm that's expected to unleash snow and severe storms over the weekend. It's a lot to talk about. We're going to do it right here, right now on Fox Road. Let's get you caught up on everything. What's happening tonight in the days ahead. We're going to go to the big wall, and we're going to show you when you have an event of this size and so many storms, you have to have a big team in place. Look at the current conditions. The bitter cold on the backside of this system, Miles City, Montana, -9. That's air temperature. Feels like -20, -30 in a lot of locations. The hottest, McAllen, Texas, 88. There's going to be a zone where these two types of air masses clash. Not at that type of intensity, but you're going to see this all across the South, and it's going to play out as a major flood risk, but also severe concerns severe weather concerns in the days ahead. Big storm in place. Coverage, and we've evolved our coverage for these events. Everybody that's locked in here on the East Coast is talking about tonight's event through tomorrow morning, and then you look out back towards the Midwest with BVD, Robert Ray, and then you have areas like Caroline Elliott out towards Kennedy Hayes, Brandon Campbell that we'll be talking about round 2 in the days to come. But with this big team, we're going to start off right here in the nation's capital with Mike Seidel. Let's talk about this system that's going to bring heavy snowfall and damaging ice, impacting millions across the DMV. Let's take it now to Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel. He joins us with the latest. And Mike, it's been snowing constantly. Estimates right around 1 to 4 inches near you. Is that ringing true? What are you experiencing there?
Yes, that's right on the nail. In fact, Reagan National just came in at 6 p.m. Eastern with another, as we say, snocker. That's what it looks like on the code, SNOICR, snow increase, 1/2. So they picked up about another inch, between 5 and 6 and 2 inches on the ground. So we've got 2 inches in 2 hours. That is not too shabby. Still waiting for the call from Dulles Airport, where it's 32 at Reagan National. And the Capitol? Well, it has just about disappeared again. I can barely see it with the naked eye. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but certainly the visibility is down to a 1/2 to 3/4 mile. Earlier, we had the old S+ heavy snow at Reagan National. Over there, they've been on a ground delay program because of the storm. Average arrival delays have been about 40 minutes, but no ground stop last time I checked, and they've cut down the arrival rate to about 24 flights an hour. they've cut it back a little bit since the accident for safety reasons. Tomorrow, about 30 flights have been canceled so far, 30, 35. It's going to be a better day tomorrow overall for flying or driving versus right now. The snow dumps on us for this evening. It'll taper off after midnight. Then early in the morning, maybe a little light snow, maybe a little touch of freezing drizzle as we have sunrise. Temperatures will then start to creep back up. Once the snow stops, we may see temperatures go back up a degree or two. I've seen that in the past once we lose all the snow coming down, which cools the column. But look at the roadways, and I've talked about it. We showed it earlier this afternoon, just covered in salt. But again, salt has its limitations. When the temperature drops certainly below freezing, we lose the daylight, and when it snows 2 inches in 2 hours. The plows have come by once or twice. They're going to keep up with the snowfall rate. Once it does back off, they'll be able to play catch up. And then the Department of Public Works told us they will then move from the surface streets into the neighborhood. So, Steve, quite a night here. It's going to be their second snowstorm of the season by far. They've only had really one, and that was back on January 6th. They had 6.6. The difference with that one is it got really cold that week after the storm on Monday, and schools were closed for a week. Some schools have already closed for tomorrow, and I think we'll see more schools closing, or at least starting late tomorrow, just depending on how the roads look in the morning. But the good thing about tomorrow is it warms up above freezing, and whatever falls will be rain and not snow, and that chance of rain. That's storm number 3, by the way, Steve, as you know, impacting the Midwest in the Great Lakes. But here the impact will be just rain as temperatures rise into the 40s tomorrow night and Thursday.
Yes, that fluctuation, Mike, you had referenced the January 6th storm. I was actually in D.C., right where you were standing for that event where they had over 6 inches of snow. And what's impressive about the nation's capital is all the crews that are there, as you would have referenced, right near the Capitol building. But those areas just outside of there, those suburbs, there's that latency factor, right, where it takes a while for them to get to those suburbs to really clean off those roads, and why there could be some big issues. Mike, we'll continue to check in with you. Thank you for that update. These storms, difficult to forecast at times because of where it starts to transition. We got another team member that's not too far from Mike. That's Fox Weather's Katie Burns. She's just a few hours south, riding out the storm in Richmond, Virginia. Katie, you've gotten the full gambit. You've experienced everything today. What's it like there in Richmond?
Oh, Steve, we're getting into the miserable territory. All right, we are dealing with maybe hour 2 of freezing rain after snow and sleet on and off for really most of the day. It started up around 9 o'clock this morning. I went out to get a cup of coffee, and it was totally quiet all across Richmond. And there was nobody out. And a lot of people ended up with snow days. They were working remote because of the conditions. And like Mike Seidel mentioned, we're looking at another round of snow days for a lot of folks, especially in central Virginia. Richmond hasn't made that call just yet. Kids were learning virtually today, but we'll see what they end up deciding. I will tell you, I've met a ton of kids out here today that were just enjoying the snow while it was fun. We did have a window of time there where it wasn't the slushy, messy, uncomfortable mess. We saw kids with their sleds. We saw kids building snowmen, and some of them were even body surfing. It was just fun to watch. And for people who don't really get that much snow, people who live in Richmond, Virginia, this was kind of exciting. It's been a bit of an active winter for them. We had that same storm that Mike was mentioning on January 6th impacted us here in Richmond as well. So now they're dealing with another one a month later, and the kids were loving it. Listen.
We just love playing in the snow. Yeah. I enjoy hitting him with things, so. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. We were also sliding. Well, me mostly, but yes. Well, it was raining first. It was raining first, so we just brought him.
Showing you now what the conditions kind of look like, because it is dark, but we've got the street lamp here that shows you that rain still coming down on us, and just kind of a shiny whatever this is on the ground, slush consistency, I guess you could call it. This is the concern, though, for those overnight hours as we deal with the freezing temperatures. If it's going to get icy tomorrow, I think that's why some schools are making that decision. While there might not be a ton of snow on the ground, we're definitely going to be dealing with some icy conditions later on tonight with, all of this leftover. And we were just thinking about this here in Richmond itself, where we're standing in the Churchill neighborhood. The streets are right over here. We haven't seen obviously we're not looking at plowable snow, but we haven't seen any salt trucks so far. So maybe they're waiting until it gets a bit colder. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, these roads don't look like they've been treated at all just yet. And, we're going into the dark where, you can't always tell what you're driving into. As we look at a car right here, maybe you can hear it underneath. You can tell it's wet out there. And we're only getting colder, Steve.
Yeah, Kate, you can almost hear a little bit of crunch as they drive by. It's that glaze that can be so threatening because it kind of makes you feel, okay, it's not that, it's not that thick. There's not that, thick layer of snow. By the way, my sister's right next to you. She's in Midlothian, Virginia, just outside to the west. It's a western suburb of Richmond. She's a teacher and was all excited about the snow day for today. We'll be waiting to see if they update it to tomorrow, as you had mentioned as well. But just shows you how difficult these systems can be to forecast because there's so variables at play and so many dynamics. We'll continue to check in with you. Thank you, Katie. This is really the first, though, of so many. Let's dive into what's this entire week going to look like, right? We were locked in on the Mid-Atlantic with Mike and Katie talking about that I-95 corridor. Now, let's look beyond that because we have a conveyor belt of storms that continue to churn through. So I want to show you a broad view of the contiguous 48. The lower 48, right? And you're watching over the past 24 hours that movement as it glides towards the east. And you'll see there's plenty of action to the south with all of that rain. We'll have that forecast for you as well. But that's round one. So you follow this bubble, it's going to kick out over the Atlantic. Then notice round two has a different type of track, a different trajectory. So it's going to impact areas of the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and the interior northeast. And so we'll see what that's like. And lo and behold, as that's kicking out towards the portions of Nova Scotia, kicking out of the northeast, you have an atmospheric river that sets up on Thursday and Friday out west. And we know what happens out west inevitably trickles into the east, right? And so by Saturday morning, you'll see the activity over the Rockies continuing to spill down into the heart of the country. And throughout the weekend, look at the East Coast. There's nobody going to be left out of the action. From the panhandle of Florida all the way up into the northern tier. Notice predominantly this is a massive rain event. All the green getting to the southern Adirondacks, the southern green and white mountains. So those spots where we were just talking with Mike, we were talking with Katie, they are likely to get rain by the weekend, melting any snow that's still existing, still kind of lingering on the ground. If you combine all three storm systems and we look at where we stand by early next week on Monday, this is what's impressive. 156 million Americans, so nearly a half of the country, expecting at least 1 inch of snow, if not more. And then you do have in the high terrain, where you choose your mountain range, whether it's the Sierra Nevada, the Rockies, the Wasatch Range, the Grand Tetons, those areas out west where they could have 3 to 4 feet of snow. So what I think is impressive by all of this is the likelihood of this snow sticking to the ground. In some areas, this is massively beneficial because of the deficit that they've been in. Spots like Nebraska, Iowa, out towards even Wisconsin. We have teams that are in place to talk about all of this. We'll be talking with Kennedy Hayes here in just a couple minutes from Madison, Wisconsin, where they're waiting for tomorrow's event. But right now, what they're dealing with is that significant cold, where at times it can be downright dangerous because the wind chill factor is plummeting well below zero, -20, -30 at times. Let's take you out to the Midwest and show you areas like Chicago that are bracing for the incoming storm. Overnight into tomorrow, you'll see what we have right now. Temperatures into the mid-20s. Feels like much cooler. When the camera's wobbling like this, that's going to send the temperatures well into the teens, if not into the single digits. And you'll notice tonight, we do have areas like Milwaukee and here in Chicago. Yeah, they can expect some snow. But when does the real event arrive? We'll unpack the details after the break. Stay with us.
Humana Medicare Advantage plans. Carry this card, and you could have the power to unlock benefits beyond Original Medicare. These are convenient plans that offer all of the benefits of Original Medicare, plus extra coverage and benefits. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get doctor, hospital, and prescription drug coverage in one convenient plan, with $0 copays on hundreds of prescriptions. Most plans include coverage, including $0 copays for covered preventive services, with eye exams, and an allowance for eyeglasses or contact lenses. benefits with routine and coverage toward hearing aids. That's Medicare.
The Appalachian Range, you do have up to a foot and a half of snow. That's in the high terrain towards the crest, the I-64 corridor. Then as you spill down towards I-95, the estimate's anywhere around 5 to 8 inches of snow. Then we just go a little bit further to the south, and this is that zone where there's that battle right now. This is the biggest ice threat. There's an ice storm warning for these areas stretching from Roanoke down towards portions like Boone and out towards western North Carolina. And you'll see that where you have that depict of purple and pink. So when you look at these storm reports, the 3 slashes tell you freezing rain. In Glendale Springs, that's a 1/4 of an inch and only going to continue to stack in the hours to come. That may not seem like a lot, but when you're looking at ice accumulation, that leads to power outages and trees starting to collapse. This one was surprising. Roan Mountain, right? 5/100ths of an inch. And look at the end of this. I know that's a lot to read here. You're not joining us to read paragraphs, right? You're trying to decipher the weather. A salt truck slides off the road and into a ditch. They are the ones that are most built for these type of dynamics. They're the ones that are out in the elements the most, and they're already slipping off the roads. And then as we scrape across the southern aspect of this storm, every pocket, everywhere we go, you're seeing heavy rain, and the estimates are where you're getting 2 to 3 inches. Those likely to climb as we'll have more rain areas in southern Tennessee, northern Alabama, You already have roads that are impassable because of the flooding threat that's in place. So we'll unpack all of this, but what oftentimes gets kind of overlooked is just the temperature themselves. And from this vantage point, it's just downright beautiful. Look at that. You have the moon over the port there, and this is Duluth, Minnesota. So you're kind of on the southern tip of Lake Superior, and as you enter the bay here, it's glistening. So your indication that there is some of that ice that's formed, of course, in the shallower areas. Of course, this is a bay. So these areas are coated in ice. And then you have this where it's got a little more of that sheen, which is probably a sign that that's actually some water there. But it looks like the port is closed. Beyond that is Lake Superior. So let's talk about why some of this water has frozen over. You got to have some extreme temperatures. And we're going to be talking about dozens of have sub-zero temperatures when you include the wind chill factor. So Miles City, Montana, -29. So these in the northern tier, then you have Mount Washington. It's kind of almost like a cheat code because they're at 4,800 feet. So it's not true representation of what's happening at the surface in some of these locations, but extreme cold warning where wind chills can be down to -45. Notice we've talked about Big Sky, the Dakotas, but now we're starting to see this on the I-5 corridor from Medford up towards Seattle. Earlier this morning, Seattle tied their record low on this day. So yeah, they're bundling up in the Pacific Northwest. Broadview just shows you how cold it is. Areas like Des Moines and Minneapolis, they're already below zero. That sets the stage for tomorrow's event. When you get that stability, you get that snow to finally move through. Right now, the biggest concern is when you start to see these temperatures at this level. And again, I'm not putting wind chill on here, or feels like, which means this is just the air temperature. This is where it's just downright dangerous, and you start thinking about that frostbite time. That's Thursday morning, and with that indication, or even tomorrow morning, we'll use that as an example, areas of Montana and North Dakota, 10 minutes or less, you have that frostbite concern. So we know in the northern tier, people are used to the bitter cold. But sometimes so you just have to adjust your daily routine because any exposure outside, if you have kids that are still obviously in school and they're thinking about, whatever they're playing right now, whatever their sport is, or if they have any of those kind of outside activities that they're deciding to play, that's all shifted indoor when you're looking at this as a multi-day event where many locations are feeling this bitter cold. That continues. I'll leave you with this. It spills all the way far south as North Platte by Friday morning at -4. Let's talk about Wisconsin and those areas like the southern portion of the state. They're getting on tap for the next round of that snow. And we've been talking about the potential of that arriving as early as overnight tonight, but surely tomorrow. That's when they're going to be feeling it. So let's bring in Fox News multimedia reporter Kennedy Hayes. She's in Madison, Wisconsin, with a look at how the city's preparing. And Kenny, I know we're talking about the incoming storm. Now that bitter cold seems to be locked in areas like Madison as well.
Hi, Steve. It is very cold out here. If you're not wearing gloves, your hands are going to start going numb within just a few minutes. And you're looking at sort of the calm before the storm. That snow, as you mentioned, is expected to start falling here tomorrow.
I had no idea it was even supposed to snow tomorrow, but honestly, if it's going to be this cold, it might as well snow.
Dang, I don't want it to snow. That's a bummer. It makes it harder for me to get to class because I walk and it takes longer.
I've been missing snow most of the season so far, so I'm looking forward to cross-country skiing and snowshoeing and just being out in it.
By Thursday, Madison could see snow totals between 5 and 8 inches. Travel could be dangerous tomorrow as well, especially on those roads and sidewalks that are not treated and may be slick. Snow will be good for growing season. One of the driest winters in Madison in decades. So far, Madison's only seen about 11.5 inches of snow. Normally, the times that amount, closer to 34 inches. Fox Forecast Center. And also bundling up for the rest of the week will also be important because temperatures are not expected to climb over 20 degrees. Steve?
It's going to be bitter cold for a long time, Kennedy. And as you had said, the snow comes tomorrow, about 5 to 8 inches for you. And then they're looking at the potential of another storm system that sets up later this weekend into the weekend. So the active cycle is in place for southern Wisconsin. Kennedy, thank you for that update. Let's talk more about the southern side of this entire system, right? We've been seeing round after round of winter storms, but this is going to mean round and rounds of rain for spots like this down into Shreveport, my old city. I worked there for 3 years. You're looking at I-20 going over the Red River towards Bossier City. Then you go even further south. Let's talk about I-10 and Houston. Look at all of the interstates there. Where it's like that web that starts to form right at the bottom, and now it's starting to lose that visibility as the low-hanging clouds kind of sweep across the screen here. But those are the spots that are vulnerable to flooding, because you think about all the underpasses that undercut that, and that's where the water kind of funnels into. And so here is a look at the warm side of this entire event, and it's very potent. Why we do have a flood watch that's in place, not only for here, but kicking back towards those spots we're just looking at. This is the Arclet Tech. So from El Dorado down towards areas of eastern Texas, the Toledo Bend area, Natchitoches, I-49 towards Alexandria. We played out. Right now, we're worried about the flood threat. Then look at what's brewing for tomorrow. You see how these storms become a little more volatile, becomes a little more widespread. So you get a wide sweeping rain event today. It waterlogs the region. And then on top of that, now you create a little bit more instability, a little more rotation, shear, and now you're looking at a tornadic threat that plays out for nearly 20 million people for tomorrow. That's the low-end threat. Over 12 million people in that high-end where you're getting New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Mobile, Biloxi, Montgomery, Birmingham, and then Atlanta, the western side of their suburbs. Why is that happening? Well, you'll see the dynamics are at play. The winds at 10,000 feet, they're indicated in blue. To kind of give you a better indication, we'll draw that on the screen for you. They're derived out of the southwest. And then you look at the orientation at the surface, and you zoom in to what I just drew right in there, and of course it erases it. It makes some of that wind shear, that rotation, very apparent towards those spots of coastal Louisiana, then moving up towards I-20, Meridian, and Montgomery. There's available storm energy. There's enough instability to allow these tornadoes to pop off, whether it's the afternoon or even into the evening time. That's the concern. It's a nighttime event for tomorrow, and why we've extended our coverage. Tonight, we go later into the evening time, and for tomorrow, we are planning to do that as well to cover this entire event. And then it doesn't stop there. By the way, let's walk with me and talk about what this upcoming weekend is going to look like. Here's Saturday. This was over this past weekend. Areas of what we know as right now. And so we start diving into the bullet points, because when you're this far removed from a wind event, right, 4 days, you don't go with numbers yet. You talk about the overall pattern in order to build that recognition. So what do we know right now? Series of winter storms going to impact these areas with snow, ice, and then severe storms in that red. Snow and ice, though, anticipating those same spots that we had earlier in the week. So it's that cumulative effect, right? Numerous severe storms possible in the same areas we just talked about for tomorrow on Wednesday. But a reminder, this is all derived out of the West Coast. Atmospheric river fires up Thursday and Friday out west. A big flood threat for areas of Southern California. We'll have that later in our show. But all that energy gets carried in with the jet stream. And so the cold Arctic air comes with this big dip all the way down towards New Mexico and the I-10 corridor towards El Paso. And then on the other end of that, you have this spring-like warm. Remember, many of these spots were more indicative of April-like temperatures. And when you have that combination and that clashing, then you include the opportunity of the severe threat beyond just the flooding risk. I know the red jumps off the screen. That's what your eye is drawn to. But notice the darker green. That is also another indication of the flood threat that is likely to play out over the weekend. By Sunday, the entire East Coast is going to be impacted or another. The southern side with the severe storms, rain event over the areas that already had snow with rapid snow melt, and then the potential for more snow as well. So something that we'll be watching for in the days to come as well. And so we'll talk about areas like Virginia, where this is in Richmond, and they've gotten everything today. They've had snow early in the day, then they had sleet, and it transitioned into freezing rain. So we'll be talking about what's the end of this event look like and what's the concern about an ice threat. We have Katie Byrne there. She'll have more on this event with us as well. And then we talk about that energy as it moves a little further north. And what could the 5 boroughs expect throughout these events? We'll have those answers for you when we return on Fox.
In the mid-60s, lows around 50. Sunday and Sunday night, showers likely. Highs in the lower 60s. Lows in the mid-20s. Washington Thursday and Monday night, clear. Highs in the upper 40s. Lows in the upper 20s. Tuesday and Tuesday night, partly cloudy. Highs in the upper 50s. Lows in the upper 30s. For more detailed weather, water, and climate information, please visit our website at weather.gov/Atlanta. Here is the hazardous weather outlook. This hazardous weather outlook is for north and central Georgia. For this afternoon and tonight, temperatures are forecast below freezing at some of the highest elevations above 3,000 feet on northeast conditions are flooded with tree branches and power lines. Over the next few hours should be minor, but isolated tree damage or power outages are possible. A flood watch is in effect through Thursday morning across portions of north and central Georgia, roughly along and north of a line from Troup County to Banks County. Multiple rounds of heavy rainfall will bring 2 to 4 inches of rain with locally higher amounts of up to 6 inches by Thursday morning. Minor flooding of rivers, creeks, and streams is likely. And now the extended outlook for the period Wednesday through Monday. The flood watch remains in effect through Thursday morning. Scattered thunderstorms and periods of heavy and persistent rainfall will be possible Wednesday through Thursday. Some of the storms on Wednesday into Thursday could be strong, and an isolated severe storm will be possible in west central Georgia. Severe storms are developed and wind gusts. Tornadoes not be ruled out in west central Georgia. Further information statement: further activation will not be needed tonight. The current time is 6:49 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here are the 6 major observations around the area. Atlanta, with drizzle reducing visibility to 1 mile. The temperature was 42 degrees, dew point 40 degrees. Relative humidity 92%. Wind east at 12 miles an hour. Pressure was 29.99 inches and steady. Around Atlanta, at Chamblee, it was cloudy and 39. Wind variable at 3. At Marietta, with fog, it was 41. Wind east at 12. At Mableton, with fog, it was 42. Wind variable at 7. At Peachtree City, it was cloudy and 45. Wind east at 9. At Lawrenceville, with fog, it was 38. Wind east at 14. At Cartersville, it was cloudy and 41. Wind east at 13. At Kennesaw, it was cloudy and 39. Wind east at 14, gusting to 20. At Hampton, with drizzle, it was 43. Wind east at 12. At Covington, with drizzle, it was 39. Wind east at 9, gusting to 15. At Monroe, with drizzle, the temperature was 39. Elsewhere around the region, at Athens, with light rain and fog, it was 38. Wind east at 10. At Gainesville, with fog, it was 37. Wind east at 12. At Macon, with fog, it was 48. Wind east at 7. At Columbus, it was cloudy and 57. Wind east at 9. At Birmingham, with light rain and fog, it was 54. Wind north at 7. At Rome, with light rain, it was 43. Wind northeast at 9. At Chattanooga, with light rain and fog, it was 45. Wind east at 5. At Asheville, with light rain and fog, it was 34. Wind south at 5. At Augusta, with fog, it was 40. Wind northeast at 9. At St. Simon's Island, with fog, it was 57. Wind northeast at 3. The Atlanta climate summary for this season as of 4 p.m. February 11th, 2025. Today's high temperature of 52 degrees occurred at 12:16 p.m. The normal high is 57. The record high is 75 degrees, which was set in 1932. Today's low temperature of 43 degrees occurred at 2:49 p.m. The inches for February. The total precipitation for the year now stands at 3.44 inches, which is 2.87 inches below normal. There were 17 heating degree days today. This brings the monthly total to 53. The yearly total since July 1st is 1,536. There were no cooling degree days today. This means the monthly total is 12. The yearly total since July 1st is 12. Sunset tonight is at 6:19. is 57. The record high of 75 degrees was set in 1932. Today's low temperature of 43 degrees occurred at 2:49 p.m. The normal low is 38. The record low is 8 degrees, which was set in 1885. 0.08 inches of precipitation fell today, which brings the monthly total to 0.24 inches. This is 1.48 inches below the normal amount of 1.72 inches for February. The total precipitation has been 3.44 inches. For more detailed weather, water, and climate information, please visit our website at weather.gov/Atlanta. Here is the hazardous weather outlook. This hazardous weather outlook is for north and central Georgia. For this afternoon and tonight, temperatures at or just below freezing at some of the highest elevations above 3,000 feet on northeast Georgia could support light ice accumulations on elevated tree branches and power lines. Impacts over the next few hours should be minor, but isolated tree damage or power outages are possible. A flood watch is in effect through Thursday morning across portions of north and central Georgia, roughly along and north of a line from Troup County to